Well, good afternoon, everyone. It's a pleasure to be here on the stage today, and hopefully that's the only slide I'm going to show from now on, because what I'd like to do is, as we look at this subject and how AI is going to transform all aspects. Can you hear me okay? I've got some people taking their mug. Okay, it's fine, good. As we start to think how artificial intelligence is going to affect human resources and the way that talent is managed in the organizations, I actually want to show you real examples of technology that we're using in IBM today and we're using with our clients that changes all aspects of the employee life cycle, from recruitment to learning, performance and career management, to employee care, and then right through to compensation and benefits. And if I go fast, I can probably show you about 5 things in about 17 and a half minutes, and then you can ask me questions. So if we can flick over, and then I'm going to flick to my screen. Interestingly, I'm not showing you an IBM screen. This is the EY homepage. EY have recently rolled out SuccessFactors recruitment and SuccessFactors learning globally. And as part of that, we help them put a cognitive or artificial intelligence recruitment engine in the place. So this is the EY homepage in the US. Can you see over here, EY Careers? And it says, if you want to, use Watson Candidate Assistant. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you live how a artificial intelligence candidate assistant is going to help potential candidates, job seekers, find their fit within careers at IBM. So here it is, at EY we're building the workplace of the future, blah, blah, blah. Whatever your professional background, get started, let EY's Watson Candidate Assistant. So I'm just going to accept, and I'm now going to start talking to Watson. Watson is IBM's artificial intelligence chatbot, and I think you can see, I'll make it a little bit bigger. Hi, welcome, I'm here to explore careers at EY. What types of jobs are you looking for? Here are a few examples. Well, I want to cut straight to the chase. I want to get AI to read my CV. So here you go, upload my resume. So I'm going to upload it, and there's my CV. Now, I'm not actually applying for a job at EY, but I'm just going to show you how it works. Here we go, open. So what Watson is now going to do is going to read my CV in seconds, and then it's going to match it to all the open requisitions that are available in the US at any one time and see if there is a fit. And then it's going to start to recommend potential jobs, again, depending on my skills. Now, probably because of my seniority or my skill set, initially there aren't a lot, but it's giving me some ideas where there might be a high match, oh, that's quite good, or there might be some other jobs where a low match. So what's this first one? IT analyst, IT advisory, business transformation, delivery, financial services. So it's picked up from my CV the fact that I've got a lot of business transformation experience. I've worked in financial services before. I've done a lot of advisory work, and that's recommending to me. And if I was interested in that role, and there's quite a lot here, I can start to filter it. So I could say, oh, I only want to go for, I don't know, I only want to go for Boston. It's now going to redo that and only give me the roles that are available in Boston. Okay, and if I clicked on that, that would then take me straight through to SuccessFactors recruitment module, and I'd then be able to apply. Now on the left-hand side, you see it's also started a dialogue with me. So it's wanting me as a candidate to ask questions and to find out a little bit more about what life is like at EY. So I'm now going to try and trick this chatbot and ask it a question that's never been asked before and see if it can get it right. So I'm going to ask it a question about dress code. You know, what's the EY dress code? You know, do you have to be a stiff and wear a suit like me, or can you come in jeans? But I'm going to ask it in a slightly different way. And it's a bit difficult because it's a bit difficult to get the, but can anyone sort of name me a fashion guru or some famous personality who is a fashion aficionado? Just if you can either mouth or shout a name to me, and I will pick one out. It works best if we've got audience participation. Right, okay, someone said, sorry? David Beckham, right. What's David Beckham famous for wearing? Sorry? A sarong, okay. I'm not sure how do you spell a sarong? Right, do I have to wear a sarong to work like David Beckham? Okay. Now, will you attest to me that that is probably the first time that question has ever been posed to this chatbot? What AI does is it understands my intent. It understands natural language processing, understands English, so it's going to interpret that and hopefully make sense that that is a question about dress code. Well, let's try it. Okay, that's what AI does. You don't need to code every single permutation of question. AI can interpret your intent. Right, that's the first thing I want to show. Artificial intelligence in the context of the candidate experience. Our experience at IBM, and I know it's similar to EY, they've launched this, is we've increased the number of people that apply to us by 46% because we've put AI in our candidate landing page. Right, now let's move to a scenario. I've now joined the organization, and why don't we create a career advisor, a coach that gives our staff career advice, learning advice, job advice, so they can work out how to navigate their careers within our organization, and encourages them to look how they can extend their career at IBM rather than going to other organizations. So we've created this Micah, My Career Advisor, which is a chatbot. It's available on the mobile phone. Here I'm doing it on the desktop. And I can ask any questions like, I don't know, how long should I stay in my role? Can you read that okay? Yeah, okay, fine. So here we go. All of us have to take charge of our career. I cannot tell you the amount of time you should, so it's blah, blah, blah. So giving me some information, right. But what's more interesting is it's giving me some advice. Well, why don't you go to the career guide? So on the left-hand side, I've got a nice series of things. I've got job opportunities, career navigator, learning recommendations, which are personalized to me. So I'm going to start off with job opportunities because you'll recognize the format for this when I throw it up. What this is now doing is it knows my CV, it knows my skills, and it's automatically, the same way as Watson Candidate Assistant did at EY, it's automatically recommending potential roles which might work for me within the organization. And it's looking for senior level jobs. Now here actually there aren't quite a lot because I'm looking at the UK. If I look further afield, there might be more significant roles. But it's encouraging me to say, look elsewhere within IBM, there are careers for you. But then I might be more specific and say, okay, but what kind of roles would suit my skills? Where do I need to go next? And so what it's doing is, first of all, it says, Andy, you are a business sales and delivery executive. I am a band C in our organizational structure. And so it's therefore saying, well, the most obvious move for you in IBM is to move to that one, a business sales and delivery executive, band B. So to move up from a band C to a band B. So stay in the same role, but just take on a more. And the reason it's making that recommendation is it's looking at, actually over the last 2 years, 22 people similar to you have moved into that role. Now I may say, well, I don't want to be a business and sales delivery executive. Can you give me some other career paths? So show me where other people like me in our organization have gone so I can start to think through. And so here you go. It's using data to say, okay, in the last 2 years, 18 people similar to you have moved, out of 22 have moved into an executive role. Or a business sales and delivery level A, a double jump. So it's giving me, based on data, where I can go within the organization. So it's giving me career advice based on my skills and based on data where people have gone in the organization. And then, of course, I can select, in fact, let me do that. Let me select that as my learning path. I'm going to say, okay, I'll do that. I'm going to change role, and I'm going to add that to my path. Let's say I want to be in learning. It will now absorb that information and start to make learning recommendations. So here it's going to read all the data around what people like me or people with my chosen career path have undertaken, and it will start to, Netflix style, make recommendations to me as a business sales and delivery executive. And within IBM, we've actually switched off our learning management system, SABA, and now we have a learning experience platform that guides all of our staff what they should be doing. And so they are, and I can look in there, how many people have undertaken this training, what the average rating is, and I can do the training. So it's a little bit like a Netflix style. We want to encourage people to continuously reinvent their skills within the organization. How am I doing? That clock, by the way, didn't start, so I don't know whether you can tell me how far I've got to go. Right, now let's take something then very different. Let's talk about how artificial intelligence is going to change the way that people give and receive feedback. This demo is actually better on a mobile phone, but obviously it's quite difficult to get plugged in here. So this is IBM's feedback system. ACE stands for Appreciation, Coaching and Evaluation, that we want all staff to give to one another on a perpetual basis. And it's via the mobile app, so I can literally call this up. It looks identical, and I can say, I want to give some feedback. I will select someone from my team, and then I can start typing in here. Although it's the mobile phone, I'm not going to type, I'm just going to speak. And I'm going to say, great meeting, Justin, today. Really impressed with the way you delivered that presentation. Next time, think about this. Now, what's the AI component to this? The AI component is that we've built in tone analysis. So you can see there's a little box there that says, check my tone. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pick some really negative feedback that I'm going to give to this guy. Where do I go? Right, and I'm going to give some negative feedback. So, your presentation today was poor quality and very disappointing and totally uninspiring. You did not listen to the team and did not structure the agenda accordingly. I'm frustrating you were late for the meeting and you need to use your slide, more slides and less boring, uninspiring and ultimately pointless demo of technology that no one in their right mind would be interested in. Right, that's some negative feedback. So what I'm now going to do is I'm going to get Watson to check my tone. Now you could say, well, that's obviously a bad piece of feedback, but in a global organization where many times people are giving feedback in not their mother tongue, having a tool like this can be quite useful because it helps people identify whether their tone. So immediately it's looked at that tone and said, there's a lot of anger there, or there's a lot of sadness. So it gives me the opportunity to redo my tone. As I say, this particular technology was designed for the mobile phone, so you don't need to type anything, you just speak it in real time as you go. Okay, so that's how artificial intelligence is going to change feedback. Let's talk about employee care and how virtual assistants and chatbots are now being integrated with, hold it, file, full screen. Ooh, view, full screen. Okay, how am I doing? I've got 6 or so minutes left. I'm going to go fast. So in this case, this is a chatbot, a virtual assistant. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to process a form. So this is a Families and Medical Leave Act form, which if I'm in the US, I have to submit if I want to take time off or if I've got a medical condition. And I'm going to say, right, let's submit that form now. Well, where have I gone? Whoop. Sorry, I'll get there in a minute. Right, so I say I have my FMLA form. Here we go. Right, and it says, great, please upload your form. So what this virtual assistant or chatbot is going to do is actually going to process the form. But I'm going to trick it. I'm going to give it a form that is invalid, if you like. So there are some fields that I've not filled in, I've not signed it off, I've not dated it properly. And what this will do will immediately tell me, I'm sorry, your form is insufficient. Either, now obviously in the next version it'd be great if it told me why it didn't work, what fields were incomplete. But just for the purposes of this demo, I'm going to then upload a complete form, so a valid form, and I'm going to submit the file. Now, what has happened in that 1 second is quite an interesting and complicated robotic process automated routine, whereby that form has been checked by a robot, every single field, it's been validated, it's then been loaded up to an external system. All I get is that, great, the form is complete, I will submit the information. But just so you know what's happening in the background, here you go. This is the little routine that's happening. Oops, sorry, let's go back. This is the routine that's happening in the background. So the form is on the right-hand side. The RPA routine is on the left-hand side, and it's literally going through every field in the form, checking that everything has been completed, and it's then in a second going to extract all the data and start loading it into an external database called LeaveLink Absence in the US. It will do that probably any time now. Right, there it is. It takes the data, starts loading it up. Okay. So you get the idea that artificial intelligence won't just change the communication with the employee. This typically would be done through an HR shared service center. It's now going to start actually doing some of that administrative processing for you and save your administrators a lot of time. So let's check on the time. It's 45. Okay, I've probably got a few more minutes. So I'll do one more quickly, and then I'll take any questions. Hold on a minute. Let's show you Cognipay. Right. So this is how artificial intelligence is going to influence the world of benefits and salaries. So I'm a manager, my name is Addison. Here is my team, Dylan, Jean, Jesse, etc. And then we've got people down the bottom. Now what this is doing, artificial intelligence is giving me, a manager, a recommendation as to whether I should give these employees a high, a medium, or a low salary increase, or skip them entirely. So if I look at this individual, Alice, we're saying that Alice, we're going to skip and not give them a salary increase at all. So what this particular tool is doing is it's reading all the data that we have about this individual, and then saying, right, I suggest you skip. So I'm just trying to pull up the relevant. So if you can see, let's look at performance. This individual has actually done quite well. They've achieved, expects more, achieves, exceeds. So they've done quite well. Most organizations would probably give this individual a salary increase. But look at the other data that we're now throwing in. Base pay competitiveness is 105%, so they are paid above market average, compared to new joiners that only get 86% of what this individual receives. Their attrition risk is not high, it's medium. And then over here, we've got their skills. Market scarcity of skills is low, i.e. it's easy to replace those skills in the market. And is it a skill that's in demand for us? Well, it's medium. Therefore, we're actually saying that this individual is well paid, they've got skills that are easy to replace, their performance has been quite good, but actually we're not going to give them a salary increase. Now, as a manager, I can overrule that, but can you see there what the analytics engine is doing on behind? It's gathering all of the data, so I can now have an objective, fact-based conversation with this individual about their skills. Right, I'm going to pause there because I'm running out of time. Are there any questions or observations?
Thanks for the presentation. So obviously this system is pulling vast amounts of data. What advice would you give to an organization that has a data problem? So the data exists, but they probably exist in multiple areas. What do they need to do first?
Yep. All of our clients have data problem, and particularly when you start to work and implement solutions like SuccessFactors, you'll find very quickly you'll be surfacing the data that's poor. The first thing is make sure that you invest enough time in trying to cleanse your data as much as you can. Secondly, work with the data that you've got. So, you are not going to be able to cleanse all the data in time for you to start. Analyze what you've got, draw insights from the data that you have, and then that will begin to surface the data that you need to work on. Again, in our experience, you want to focus on your pain points. So if your focus is around salary and compensation, then we would argue those are the key bits of data you probably need to focusing on. If your focus is on recruitment and finding the right people for your organization, then focus on your job requisitions and your skills of your existing employees, because that will help you decide whether you need to buy skills from outside or build them internally. So focus on your pain points and work on that area of data. As a long-term strategy, just make sure that you build an information architecture that supports artificial intelligence. There's no AI without IA. No artificial intelligence without a good information architecture.
And that's time. Thank you so much, Andy, for a great session.